Yeah, I've always liked the idea of a comeback, like the ultimate comeback. Like I always thought that was kind of cool. Like people who are down and out and then they come back, they come roaring, and they not only are they better than they started, but they're better than most people out there. And the downside of that, I feel like for myself, is I put myself in positions where I have to make a comeback because I think that's cool. I think that's admirable. I think that's a really cool trait. But if you're in a position where you got to make your comeback, you got to prove it to somebody. You got to, prove it to your family, prove it to um, your credit report, your finances, your job, your school, your peers, whatever it is, whatever that motivation for you is, because that's what it's got to be. It's got to be that motivation that drives you, and it's got to come from inside. It's got to be internal. It can't be. You can use external motivation, like from friends and from your job, from any of that, but ultimately it's got to be from you. And this is what I've learned is that the reason why the ultimate comeback is possible is because most people don't work that hard. And this is where you can use it as your advantage, is that most people don't work hard and they don't want to work hard. And you know what? I used to get mad. I used to get mad about that. When I was younger, I'd get mad because I'd say, oh, you know, I went to this restaurant, these people aren't working hard. When I worked at a restaurant, I busted my tail, blah, blah, blah. I called here and these people don't care. And I used to get really upset that people are not working hard. And then I started realizing is that working hard can be a competitive advantage, like your own personal competitive advantage. Because the way it is now in our economy, I don't care what anyone says. It's like the days of going work on a job for 40 years are long gone. They've been long gone. Even the idea of running a business for a long time is long gone. That business is going to change. You're going to change. The industry is going to change. So you can't even do that for a long time. So this idea that when you think most people don't work hard, you gotta think you can use that to your advantage in the sense that if you work hard, you can get ahead of most people. Okay, and that's where your comeback can start. So, for example, you're at your job and uh, it's not going well, you're going to get fired, or you're at school and your grades are bad, or you're in a relationship and you've underperformed, or with your kids or whatever it is, and you've been underperforming. That's the point where you go, okay, because our first initial thing is we want to feel bad for ourselves, right? We want to get mad at ourselves. We want to look and say, well, you know what? If I would have started with family money, if my parents would have helped me out, if so and so would have helped me out, if so and so would have been working and maybe you know got me in a better position. But most of us not only start not ahead, most of us start behind. Okay, and if you can accept that you started behind and you can't change your circumstance. Like I'm saying, as far as where you started, you're much better off. But if you take the idea that you can create your own reality, whatever it is, then you can go somewhere with that. So, for example, if whatever position you're in, if you're in a bad situation with your kids, your family, your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, whoever it is that not only can you turn it around, but you could become the star of your little world. I used to a long time ago. I used to think like, well, I can't be, this great entrepreneur. I can't be this billionaire. I can't be, these super successful people. And I came across something by It was a book by Sylvester Stallone. I forgot what it was called. I think it was called Sly Moes. It was a book that didn't even get a lot of attention. And he talked about, I think it was in that book, he talked about you might not be able to be the star of the world, the biggest star, but you can be the star in your own little world. And I thought that for me, it really struck a chord. And I'm like, okay. And I kind of ran with it. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to be, you know what? Maybe you want to be, the biggest star on the planet. And maybe you will be. But here's the reality. You're not going to be. You're not going to be. Get mad at me. Say bad things. I'm being negative. I'm not being negative. Most people can't. Everyone can't be the biggest star, right? But you can be the star in your own little world. You can be the star in your family. You can be the star in your group, in your friends group, in your family, in your, you can be the role model to your kids. And that's what you want to be. And at minimum, that's where you want to start at. So if you want to talk about making your ultimate comeback, do it. Do it. And this is where you start. You say, what's the ideal? Where do I want to go? And that's where you start with. You don't when you're making your list, you don't say, well, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. No, no, no. You make your list on paper. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to get to. This is the debts I want to pay off. This is the money I want to make. This is the things I want to do. And you make that list. And then you work backwards. You say, okay, well, how can I accomplish that? And you say, well, that's too simple. That's too simplistic. Then why are you complicating it? Why are we complicating? Why are we complicating getting ahead? It's like the world's hard enough right now. The economy's hard enough right now. The idea of getting a job and working somewhere for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years is gone. It's gone. You're not even going to work somewhere for probably 5 years. We know it's gone. It's a different economy we're living in than our parents and our grandparents and than our aunts and uncles lived in. It's a different economy. We're not anywhere long term. We're not in careers that are long. We're not even in careers. We're from job to job. Industry to industry. We're probably not in the same stuff that we're in a few years ago. So you gotta take that, you gotta erase that, and you can't deal with the way you want it to be, or the way it was. You got to deal with the way it is, right now. So we got to deal with the economy, with the way things are. Um, and we can't fight against that, because if you can sit there and go, well, it shouldn't be like that. Well, you know what? I agree, it shouldn't be like that, and I get pissed off all the time, but it doesn't help. So I come back and I go, okay, what can I do? What can I do to change my situation? What can I do to improve myself? What can I do to get ahead? What can I do to get ahead of other people? What can I do to improve myself? And that's the first start. So make your ultimate comeback. Figure out what you want to do, and forget what anyone else says. Oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. You want to start a business, you want to start a career, you want to change your career, you want to go back to school, whatever it is. Write that list and just start it. Just start it.